Imagine you're standing right in the middle of this massive wooden stage.
Oh, that's a scary thought.
Yeah. The spotlight overhead is just blindingly bright, beating down on you. Hundreds of eyes are staring right at you from the dark, just waiting for you to do something absolutely amazing.
And then the room goes completely quiet.
Exactly. Completely quiet. And suddenly your mind goes totally blank. Your tummy feels like it's full of fluttering butterflies, your throat gets tight, and you just want to sink right through the floorboards and disappear.
It is a terrifying feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, your brain is basically sending this massive alarm signal to your whole body to just freeze,
Right.
to make yourself as small and, invisible as possible. It happens to grown-ups, it happens to kids, and as we're going to find out today, it even happens to pirate parrots.
We have all been there, and that feeling of freezing up when you're supposed to be showing off is exactly why we're taking today's deep dive.
Right into a really fantastic story.
We are. We're going to explore a story from our sources called Pip the Hero of Parrot Point. Now, I'm talking directly to you, our listener, right now.
Yeah, you listening at home or in the car.
We are going to use this incredible story to crack a really tricky puzzle. What exactly is a talent? And what do you do if you look around at everyone else's flashy skills and think, I don't have one of those?
It's a question that trips up so many people, honestly.
Yeah.
We live in a world that just loves a big performance.
Oh, absolutely.
We're conditioned from a very young age to believe that a talent is only real if it comes with a trophy or, a round of applause or a cheering crowd.
Right, like it has to be a spectacle.
Exactly. But this story is going to challenge that assumption entirely by showing us the mechanics of a totally different kind of skill.
So let's jump right into the world of Parrot Point. I want you to picture a bright, beautiful, sun-drenched island right in the middle of a sparkling blue ocean.
Sounds like a nice vacation spot.
It does, right? And living on this island is the loudest, most incredibly colorful crew of pirate parrots you could ever imagine.
I mean, we're talking bright colors here.
Oh, neon colors. There are giant red parrots with eye patches, there are bright blue parrots with little peg legs, and there are even tiny green parrots with feathers that literally sparkle in the sun.
The visual environment alone is just overwhelming. It's loud, it's chaotic, and it's highly competitive.
Because they're pirates.
Yeah, these aren't just any birds, they are pirates. And in a pirate crew, establishing your identity and proving your worth is a huge part of their daily life.
Which brings us to the biggest event of the year on this island, which is the Pirate Parrot Talent Show.
And this isn't just a casual get-together, right?
Oh, no. This is a massive spectacle. The host of the show is Captain Pollybeak, a very tall, very loud master of ceremonies who knows exactly how to work a crowd.
He's a natural showman.
Totally. He
Yeah.
grabs the microphone and immediately hypes up the audience for the very first act, this big bird named Rocky the Red Parrot.
And Rocky doesn't just walk onto the stage. I mean, he makes an entrance.
He sure does. Rocky flaps his bright red wings, launches himself high into the air, and does 3 completely flawless flips. Flip, flap, spin.
Wow.
I know. He's tumbling through the air like an Olympic gymnast. Can you just imagine how cool that looks?
The crowd must have loved it.
They completely lose their minds. They are cheering, whistling, and clapping their wings together. And then right after that, Captain Pollybeak brings out Melody the Blue Parrot.
And what does she do?
Well, she doesn't fly into the air. Instead, she steps right up to the front of the stage, opens her beak, and sings. Just squawk la la la.
A singing pirate parrot.
Yeah, and it's this beautiful, powerful tune that literally echoes off the palm trees across the whole island. The crowd is just stunned. They're all whispering, wow.
So we have gymnastics and we have vocal performance. These are 2 incredibly classic examples of what we call visible talents.
But there is a trap here, I think.
Oh, definitely.
When we see Rocky doing those incredible flips, and when we hear Melody singing so beautifully that the island echoes, it makes us think that a talent must be loud.
Right. That it has to be obvious.
Exactly. It makes us think it must be flashy. So I have to ask you, does a talent have to be something you can perform on a stage?
It doesn't, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a very clear biological reason why we are so drawn to Rocky and Melody. Human beings, and, well, in this case, pirate parrots,
Right.
are visual and auditory creatures. Our brains are hardwired to notice big movements and loud melodic sounds.
That makes sense.
When Rocky does a flip, your eyes track the motion. When Melody sings, your ears process the harmony. It's instant feedback. You can point right at the stage and say, there is the talent.
Right. There's no mystery to it at all. You see the flip, you clap for the fun.
Exactly. And on top of that, those visible talents require something very specific which is muscle memory.
Oh, like practice.
Yes, Rocky had to practice that flip hundreds of times, falling down and getting back up until his muscles knew exactly when to twist in the air.
And same for Melody, I bet.
Yep, Melody had to practice her scales until her vocal cords could hit the exact right note. We applaud them because we are recognizing the hard work and practice that went into that performance.
That's true. We love seeing hard work pay off.
But the danger is assuming that if you haven't built up that specific kind of muscle memory for a stage trick, well, that you are somehow untalented.
Which brings us right to the core problem of our story. What happens if you are next in line?
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's your turn to walk out onto those wooden floorboards. The crowd just finished screaming for Rocky and Melody, but you don't have a flip. You don't have a song.
You have no idea what makes you special.
Exactly.
You're stepping into a completely unbalanced comparison. And that is exactly the situation our hero faces.
Enter Pip. Pip is a small green parrot. He doesn't launch himself into the air like Rocky. He just sort of shuffles onto the stage, one foot in front of the other.
He's nervous.
Very. He looks out at this massive sea of pirate parrots staring at him, expecting something huge. And all he manages to squeeze out is a very quiet, "Ah, hi."
Oof. The contrast is brutal there. The crowd just experienced high-energy sensory input, and now they're getting almost nothing.
And the crowd is totally confused. You can hear them start to murmur. One parrot in the front row actually whispers loudly, "What's your talent?"
Which is the last thing you want to hear.
The absolute last thing. Pip gulps. He looks down at his claws and stammers, I'm not sure." And then the whisper ripples through the whole crowd. No talent.
Poor Pip.
When Pip hears that, the story says his bright green feathers completely drooped. He just deflated.
Let's talk about those drooping feathers for a second, because that's a brilliant detail in the source material. Why do you think Pip physically shrinks like that?
Well, I know that feeling perfectly. When you feel embarrassed or when you feel like you've disappointed people, you just want to hide inside your own jacket. You pull your arms in, you tuck your chin to your chest. It's like you're trying to roll yourself up into a tiny invisible ball. Imagine how nervous Pip must be feeling right in front of everyone.
That's spot on, and it's a deeply ingrained biological response. When Pip feels the judgment of the crowd, his brain registers it as a threat.
Like actual danger.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The amygdala, which is the alarm bell in the brain, goes off. But instead of the fight or flight response, Pip is experiencing the freeze response.
Ah, I see.
By drooping his feathers and shrinking his posture, his body is literally trying to make him a smaller target. He wants to blend into the background so the perceived danger, the laughing crowd, will just pass him by.
He feels totally worthless in that moment. He thinks because he can't do a backflip, he doesn't belong on the island at all.
Which couldn't be further from the truth.
Thankfully, the host of the show steps in. Captain Pollybeak doesn't laugh at him. He walks right over to the little green parrot, puts a wing around him, and says something really profound.
He really changes the tone of the whole event.
He does. He tells Pip, every parrot has a talent. Sometimes you just haven't discovered it yet.
That is a crucial piece of wisdom from the captain. He's trying to shift Pip's perspective, and really the audience's perspective, away from the idea that talents are only stage performances.
Right.
He's introducing the concept of a hidden talent. Talents aren't just things you practice. Sometimes they are hidden inside you, just waiting for the perfect moment to pop out.
I feel like we need a good way to picture this. It's like imagine you're building a really cool giant house.
Okay, a house.
Rocky the red parrot is the bright, shiny red paint on the front door. Everyone walking by stops and says, "Wow, look at that red door."
Very visible.
Melody the blue parrot is the beautiful, sparkling glass windows. You can see them shining from a mile away. But Pip is the foundation.
A concrete?
He's the solid concrete poured deep into the ground. Nobody walks by a house and claps for the foundation. You can't even see it.
That's a fantastic analogy.
Yeah.
No one claps for the foundation, but without it, what happens to the red door and the shiny windows?
The whole house falls down.
Exactly. The foundation is an invisible strength. Captain Pollybeak is hinting that Pip might be the foundation.
Right.
His talent might not be something you practice for a stage. It might be something that only reveals itself when the house actually needs holding up.
And let me tell you, that perfect moment to discover his hidden talent was literally about to roll their way.
Oh, here we go.
We are at the climax of the story. Pip is still on stage, feathers drooping, feeling terrible. Captain Pollybeak is trying to comfort him. The crowd is getting restless.
Tensions are high.
And then, completely out of nowhere, a stray coconut drops from a palm tree above the stage. It hits the wooden floor with a massive thud and starts rolling incredibly fast.
Right toward a group of tiny parrots sitting near the edge.
Yes, it's a runaway coconut. And it's heavy, and it's moving fast. Now, here is where the magic happens. Pip doesn't freeze this time.
He springs into action.
He doesn't shrink down at all. Without even thinking, he lets out a massive squawk, "Look out!" at the very top of his lungs.
Oh.
He dives across the stage, throws his little green body against the rolling coconut, and shoves it just off course so it completely misses the other parrot.
Just in time.
Yeah.
The physical mechanics of what just happened are incredible if you break them down.
Let's do that, because I have a major question here.
Go for it.
Rocky had to practice his flips for weeks. Melody had to practice her scales every single day. Pip didn't spend the last month practicing pushing heavy coconuts.
Right, he's just a little guy.
He's a tiny bird. How did Pip do something so amazing and move so fast without even practicing or thinking about it?
Well, he didn't need practice because he was using a completely different system in his brain.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, we talked about muscle memory, which is voluntary.
Okay.
You decide to do a flip, and your brain sends a signal to your muscles to do it. But what Pip just did was an involuntary reflex driven by pure empathy.
Empathy? You mean like caring about the other parrots?
Exactly. When Pip saw that coconut rolling toward his friends, his brain recognized the danger to someone else. And in highly empathetic individuals, people who care deeply about others, seeing a friend in danger overrides the freeze response we talked about earlier.
Oh, wow.
His brain completely bypassed the part of him that was worried about looking silly on stage. It flooded his little body with adrenaline, which makes you temporarily faster and stronger, and his instinct to help took over before he could even form a conscious thought.
It's like when you're sitting at the kitchen table and you see a glass of milk get knocked over.
Yes, perfect example.
You don't sit there and think, okay, say I should move my arm now, open my fingers, and grasp the cup. Your hand just shoots out and catches it before it hits the floor.
Precisely. It's a reflex. But Pip's reflex wasn't just catching a cup. It was protecting his community. That is what we call a doing talent.
A doing talent. I love that.
His talent is quick thinking and helping others. It wasn't a rehearsed dance or a song. It was a reflex driven by kindness. And being helpful and watching out for your friends is actually a superpower.
And the crowd instantly recognizes it. The entire energy of the island shifts. They aren't whispering about him having no talent anymore. Now they are shouting, "Whoa, that was fast!" And you saved them, Pip.
The validation he needed.
But the absolute best part is Pip's reaction. He's totally surprised by his own actions. He's standing there breathing heavily. He looks at the coconut, he looks at his own wings, and he just blinks and says, "I did."
He's totally shocked by his own capability. He didn't know he had it in him.
Because it's an invisible talent. You can't see the foundation of the house until a storm comes and the house stands strong.
Right.
Captain Pollybeak walks over, beaming with pride, and announces into the microphone, "Pip, your talent is quick thinking and helping others." And guess what? The whole pirate crowd erupts. They cheer louder for Pip than they did for the flips or the singing.
Which completely changes Pip's physiology.
Yeah.
The physical response to that validation is immediate.
It really is. Remember how his feathers were drooping? Not anymore. The story says Pip's bright green feathers fluffed up proudly.
He's puffing himself up.
Yeah, he stands up taller, looks at the captain, and asks, "So, that counts?"
It's heartbreaking that he even has to ask. It shows how deeply he believed that only stage tricks mattered.
But Captain Pollybeep just laughs and says, "Of course it counts." So the coconut is out of the way, everyone is safe, and it's time to find out who won the big talent show.
This is where Captain Pollybeak flips the script entirely.
He really does. He takes the stage one last time. The crowd goes totally silent, waiting for the big name. He raises the microphone and shouts, "Today's winner is everyone."
The entire crowd of parrots gasps in shock.
And I'll be honest, I'm gasping a little bit too. So let me push back on Captain Pollybeak for a second.
Sure, go ahead.
If everyone wins, is it even a competition anymore? I mean, the whole point of a talent show is usually to figure out who is the absolute best, hand them a giant blue ribbon, and send everyone else home.
That is how we usually do things, yes.
If you just give everyone a trophy, doesn't it kind of cheapen Rocky's amazing flips? I feel like it's more like a giant puzzle, where every parrot brings a different, brightly colored puzzle piece to make the picture complete.
Well, I agree with that analogy completely, and that's a very fair challenge about the competition. It's how most of our society operates. We love a game where, for someone to win, someone else has to lose.
Right.
But Captain Pollybeak is managing a crew of pirates, not a solo tennis tournament. In a crew, the talent show isn't about beating the other parrots. It's about sharing what makes you unique.
Hmm.
Competition can actually be dangerous if it goes too far.
How so?
Think about it. If you're on a pirate ship sailing through a massive storm, do you want your crew fighting over who is the best sailor?
Oh, no, definitely not.
No. You need collaboration.
Yeah.
You need the person in the crow's nest looking for rocks. You need the person steering the wheel. You need the person tying down the sails. If the ship sinks, everyone loses.
That makes total sense.
So a crew only survives if they value every single different type of skill equally.
Oh, I get it now. Rocky brings the excitement and the athleticism. Melody brings the art and the morale. And Pip brings the safety, the awareness, and the protection.
Exactly.
If the island only had parrots who did flips, they'd be really entertained right up until a giant coconut squashed them.
Exactly. Polydick's decision isn't about handing out meaningless trophies. He's explicitly telling them that their community requires all of these distinct puzzle pieces to function.
The whole picture.
Right. By declaring everyone a winner, he's celebrating the diversity of their talents. He's saying, we need Rocky's strength, we need Melody's voice, and we desperately need Pip's quick-thinking kindness.
The puzzle wouldn't be complete without Pip. And once Pip finally hears that and realizes his foundation is just as important as the flashy red paint, well, everything changes for him.
He realizes he had a talent all along.
He did. He isn't the shy, nervous, drooping little parrot anymore. From that day forward, the story tells us he was no longer shy. He became known all over the sunny island as Pip, the helpful hero of Parrot Point.
He finally found his place in the crew. He discovered his value didn't have to be performed. It just had to be applied when it mattered most.
I love that. It didn't have to be performed, it just had to be applied. That is such a powerful takeaway. So as we wrap up this deep dive for you listening today, let's look at the big picture.
Let's summarize it.
Flashy, visible talents like singing loud songs, doing giant athletic flips, or painting a masterpiece are wonderful. They take hard work, they build muscle memory, and they bring joy to the world.
There are beautiful ways to express yourself, and if you have one of those talents, you should absolutely celebrate it.
But we also learned that quiet talents, the invisible ones like quick thinking, deep empathy, and being incredibly helpful, are truly heroic. Being kind and looking out for your friends is a superpower.
It really is.
It's the sturdy foundation that holds the whole house up, even if there isn't a spotlight shining on it.
It's the reflex that keeps the community safe. And that kind of character counts just as much, if not more, than doing a backflip on a wooden stage.
So I want to speak directly to you, our young listener, one more time. Just like Pip the Little Green Parrot, you have your very own unique talent inside of you.
You really do.
Even if you are still discovering what it is, maybe you already know. Maybe you love to draw or run fast or build giant towers out of blocks.
This is
Or
awesome.
maybe you don't know what it is yet. Maybe you look around and feel a little bit like Pip shuffling onto that stage. And I want you to know that is perfectly okay.
It's totally fine.
Your talent might just be a quiet one, resting inside you, building its strength, waiting for the exact right moment to fluff up your feathers and show the world what you're made of.
You don't have to force it. When the moment arrives, your brain and your heart will know exactly what to do. Which actually leaves us with a really fun and thoughtful question for you to explore after our deep dive ends today.
Oh, you know I love a good thought experiment. Lay it on us.
Think about this. If a runaway coconut suddenly rolled into your playroom right now, what hidden superpower or special invisible talent would you use to help your friends?